Hi guys, how are you? If you like the Killer Doll Chucky, you'll be pleased to know they're currently filming Cult of Chucky, the 7th in the Child's Play series, and it will be released before Halloween. So, with that in mind, I'm going to take the time to review the first movie in this franchise, which was Child's Play. Released in 1988, Child's Play stars Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon, Alex Vincent, and Brad Dourif. Child's Play is co-written by its creator Don Mancini, who'd go on to write every episode in the Chucky saga, and is directed by Tom Holland. Charles Lee Ray, a serial killer played by Brad Dourif, is minutes away from death after a shootout with police. So, using his voodoo skills, he transfers his soul into the body of a good guy doll, which subsequently ends up in the possession of Andy Barclay, played by Alex Vincent. Andy Barclay is a 6-year-old kid, it's his birthday, and all he wants is a good guy doll. His mom is a single mom working in a department store, can't really afford it, but she finds one for sale from a backstreet peddler. So after Andy's babysitter is brutally murdered with a hammer to the face, Andy's the prime suspect, as he was the only person actually in the apartment at the time. The detective investigating this murder just happens to be the same guy that was on the trail of Charles Lee Ray, whose nickname was Chucky. And Andy Barclay's doll, coincidentally, is named Chucky. Now, for the first hour of the film, Chucky is just a doll. There's no movement, he doesn't talk, he is communicating with Andy through whispers, and you don't see anything out of the ordinary. So eventually we see some sort of movement from Chucky when Andy's mum eventually starts to believe that he wasn't the one doing the murders and that it was in fact his doll Chucky. She threatens to burn Chucky and throw him onto the fire, and the doll comes alive in an amusing scene where he fights her and eventually escapes. Now, the special effects for the Chucky doll were absolutely brilliant. The movie, as I mentioned earlier, was released in 1988, but the effects and the animatronics still hold up today. Granted, on the subsequent films, the technology got better so they could do more with the doll, but even now, watching the film just yesterday, the movie really holds up in a lot of areas in terms of the animatronics. There were a few parts where they actually used a small person in a Chucky suit with a slightly larger set, but on the whole, most of what you see is done with animatronics, special effects, and they are very, very good. Child's Play is a horror film, but it's not the sort of horror film that I would define as that nowadays. Now all you seem to get is a lot of gore and all of that sort of thing, like the Saw movies and so forth, but this is more psychological. There are scary elements, there are some classic kills in the movie, but on the whole, the movie is very psychological. It does a really good job of building up tension, and when everything eventually does kick off and Chucky comes alive and is trying to kill everybody and trying to put his soul into Andy's body, because that's the only way he can actually get back to human form, by transferring his soul into the body of the first person he revealed himself to, which sounds a little bit dodgy. So Chucky's trying to kill the detective, he's trying to kill Chucky's mother, and he's trying to get his soul back into Andy's body with his little voodoo chant, Ade Dua Dembara, which everybody in the world seems to know. In terms of performances, Catherine Hicks plays a really good part as Karen, Andy's mum, who's a single mum living in Chicago trying to make ends meet. Chris Sarandon plays the classic 80s detective, and Alex Vincent, who plays Andy, does a particularly good job. It's not a perfect performance by any means, but the kid was really young when he played the part, and there are parts in this movie where you genuinely think that this kid is so terrified that this doll is literally trying to kill him. Brad Dourif is absolutely perfect as the voice of Chucky, and the one-liners that become more apparent in subsequent films are minimal here. There are a couple, but on the whole, this is more of a psychological horror film. Plot-wise, the movie is pretty simple, it has quite a simple premise. However, there are a couple of things that don't quite make sense, and one that stands out for me is right at the beginning of the film, whereas why would a serial killer need a getaway driver? It just doesn't make sense. Although the only reason I can think of is it sets up a kill later on in the movie. That's the only reason I can think that that's even there. But on the whole, Child's Play is a pretty solid movie. It's one that I really enjoyed. I remember when I was a kid, me and a friend went to see this at the cinema. We were not old enough to get into the screening, however somehow we managed to get in. I certainly hope that when Cult of Chucky is released later this year, it holds up to the quality of this movie and is closer to the standard of this rather than the dreadful Seed of Chucky. Child's Play is the strongest movie in the Chucky series in my opinion, and I'm going to give Child's Play 4.5 out of 5. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Let me know down below which of the Child's Play or Chucky movies was your favourite. Are you looking forward to Cult of Chucky? Let me know down below. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe before you go. I'll see you later. Bye.